Several years ago, the states of Minnesota and Wisconsin declared that they would jointly manage the St. Croix River, which serves as a boundary between the two states. One person at the meeting said he lived on the Apple River in Wisconsin, which was watershed of the St. Croix. He said he'd probably never see the St. Croix River, but if everybody took care of their watersheds like the Apple in the St. Croix Basin, the St. Croix would be just fine. Absolutely true. First, here's the catch. Even if you did everything that you could manage, water in the Apple watershed, you might still have droughts and floods, economic loss. It could still cost you a lot of money. Remember, we said that 97% of the water is in our oceans. 97%. We're maybe a long way from the oceans, but what happens in the oceans affects the global water cycle, and that affects our local rainfall, droughts, and floods. If I'm 1,000 miles away from the ocean, and yet what happens a long way affects my life, wouldn't it be important to know what's going on? So, second, we think so, which is why we continue to emphasize monitoring and assessment of water. This is an El Nino year, right? All kinds of stuff, droughts and floods and hurricanes is happening around the world because of it. But it's only going to last for about another 6 months. In 2006, we had a severe drought in Arkansas. 2008, we had record floods. If you were to monitor 1 year, so which year would you pick? And how would you prepare for the future based upon that 1 year? It doesn't matter which year. Either year, your future effects would essentially be wasted. Truth is, the water cycle is highly variable, not just where you are, but literally worldwide. It's why a 30-year continuous record of monitoring water is needed to see the trends and better understand what's going on with water. So third, that's why we need to monitor and assess water at a national scale. What happens in the Southwest isn't going to happen in the Northeast. Of course, we know that. Yes, but it's crucial that we be aware and understand that what happens locally is affected and controlled by what happens globally. And that's why we continue to emphasize the importance of monitoring and assessing water at a national scale. Managing our nation's water depends on what happens in one region. It's absolute folly. The water cycle varies from region to region and year to year. It's why we need monitoring and assessment continuously and nationally. It's why we keep emphasizing we need to protect and conserve our nation's water. Our nation, not just locally or statewide or even regional, but national. And as always, through this website, we invite you to become aware and understand more about water and the practices that you can help to conserve it. And see, there's the key. What's really important is what actions are you going to take to help us protect, conserve, and manage our nation's waters. In addition to this YouTube video, we also invite you to read our blog at thenationalwaterconservancy.org. It's all one word. Water is life, and it's not just a slogan. It's the absolute truth. Water is life.